We have our first big update of the San Francisco 49ers offseason, and it's basically a follow up of yesterday's report about George Kittle, Brock Purdy, and Fred Warner showing up for the beginning of voluntary offseason program. So let's talk about the guys who have shown up. Brock Purdy is in attendance today. He did arrive to the 49ers team facility. And this is what Mike Silver had to say about this yesterday. He mentioned that if Brock Purdy shows up, that it's a good sign that the contract negotiations are in a good spot and that it's close. He said that if Brock didn't show up, that it was an indication that they were still far apart in negotiations. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that a deal is imminent. However, it could mean that it's not so far apart that they don't think something is going to happen. So I take it for what it's worth. Again, it's a voluntary workout, so these guys don't have to be there. With it being the first day of the offseason program, you typically want your top guys to show up, including your quarterback. So good on Brock. He showed up. That is awesome. Now let's talk about another guy, George Kittle. So as we know, George Kittle, and this was reported yesterday from Mike Silver, he is working through his contract negotiation with the San Francisco 49ers, and reportedly they are far apart, and they aren't particularly close in regards to negotiating a deal. Kind of feels like the 49ers' priority right now is Brock Purdy. So what does that mean for George? Well, George did not show up today for voluntary workouts, and this is, I do believe, something that he has historically shown up for. So when you're going through a negotiation and you aren't far or you aren't close, these are typically ways to kind of send messages or show that, like, we're serious about getting this done. And so that is also a very interesting element to all of this. So, and so with the George Kittle thing, I have mentioned that with the draft coming up, these are always dates that you have to pay attention to. And I'm always going to be on high alert for players to either, be acquired via trade or traded away from the team, just because that's what the draft is. A lot of people are getting on the phones. They're trying to make calls. They're trying to gauge interest. So you just never know how a situation is ultimately going to play out. And with what we're hearing of Kittle in a negotiation, not seemingly close, and, again, it is voluntary, so I don't want to make a bigger deal than maybe it should be. But we were kind of warned about this, and it, again, seems to be related to a contract. And so that is significant in that sense. Fred Warner, we don't have an official report on him being there or not being there. I did see something from Lombardi who said that Warner was in the building last week. Oh, he was in the building last week because he took photos with draft prospects who were on their official visits. So that's why he's saying that, is because we have photo evidence that Fred Warner has been in the building. So it's probably a solid assumption that Fred Warner will show up today. The thing with Fred Warner is he could be possibly in conversations for an extension. However, it doesn't sound like he's at that stage where he needs to hold out or do anything like that. He still has 2 years left on his deal, from my understanding. So it does seem like that's kind of in a different situation. But as it stands right now, I guess a good sign with Brock, and maybe a sign of things to come in regards to the negotiation with George Kittle. So we'll see how it all plays out. John Lynch will speak today to the media, I believe at noon Pacific Standard Time, to do his kind of pre-draft presser. I will imagine we'll get some, they'll be doing a workout as a team and things like that. So it's officially day one of the new year for the players. And hey, we'll see how it continues to go. But let me know what you guys think about all this stuff. Are you feeling optimistic that a deal is going to get done with Purdy? How are you feeling about the situation that's playing out with George Kittle? I'm really curious to hear what you have to say about this. So let me know in the comments below, and as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.